back, everybody. This is the Johnny-mar, and I am continuing with Stardew Valley. So my last episode, we continued into fall, and we finished off the last of some of the cutscenes and objectives we wanted to complete for this particular playthrough. And that was, we finished off the Joja Community Center and got the final cutscene. And then we also got Haley's 14 Heart scene, which was the cakewalk. So in this particular episode, we are going to continue onward towards the end of the year as we continue here in fall. We're going to continue to do our usual chores around the farm. And then we're going to start preparing for the fall event, which is the fall fair. So we have to get all sorts of items for that. I am going to be showing off a couple different scenes with the fair event. And then also showing off all of the events that you can do at the fair. It looks like we got some more honey down here, so that means we can create another bee house. We're very closely approaching the end of the usefulness of the bee houses. I will continue to build them, just for the sake of it. But once we hit winter, we will no longer get honey, unless that was changed in a future update, such as 1.6. As far as I remember, prior to 1.6, we did not get honey during winter, but maybe that's changed, I don't know. So I will continue to create bee houses and form out my little triangles and diamond shapes down there to the south part of my farm. We're also getting very close to getting our major harvests here. We have our melons in our greenhouse getting close to coming in. And we got some beets. That's pretty awesome. So that means we can continue the Mr. Key storyline and quest line. Now that we have our beets, we need to put those into the mayor's fridge. And that'll get us the next in the line of that particular quest. So we're going to grow some things here. Continue to grow our pumpkins, which are one of the best items to grow in the fall. And then we will also grab the rest of the beets, which I believe are in the greenhouse. So knock down a few trees. I probably should clear out all of this extra weed here, this grass, simply because it just essentially limits my speed in terms of walking around my farm. And we do have a pumpkin there, so that's pretty nice. So we're going to save that pumpkin because you actually do need a pumpkin for an event with one of the villagers in this particular season. So we'll use that. Now for your moment of mindfulness. That has been your moment of mindfulness for this episode. Alright, so we are here at the mayor's house. We need to place 10 beets inside Mayor Lewis's fridge. And we also can check out these new items that are here. So we quickly place the beets in the fridge. Wait a sec, there's a note taped to the milk. It's addressed to me. Good job, kid. Your final task, give the sand dragon his last meal. Sand dragon. Now where would that be? In the mines somewhere? On the beach? Or in the desert? Here we have a lost and found. Incomplete deliveries from special orders. Not sure I've ever used that. We can file for divorce. Never done that and don't have an interest in doing it. We have the ledger book here, which I'm sure the mayor is not using to do weird things. And then we have a little prize ticket thing here where we can get special items for special tickets. So I'm going to finish off Robin's resource rush and I'll meet you back at the house once I do. Alright, so I finished off Robin's quest here. We'll collect our cool 2,500 gold. And we'll call it a day here. So tomorrow we will head to the desert to continue the Mr. Key quest line. That was another productive day here in the valley. Got a lot of stone from going down through the first few levels of the mine. So I finished that quest off a little early, had a couple days extra on it. And what in the world is that, Haley? Have you been on Amazon again? Did you order a chair? Huh. Yeah, I slept okay. I guess I was zonked because I didn't hear them delivering this. Did you call me hun? Please don't do that. But it's wonderful. It's very blue. It's very Joja blue, so it fits the motif of our house. So I accept. What's the recipe today? Tortillas! Yeah, I've eaten enough convenience burritos in my life to know what she's talking about here. But now we can create tortillas as we continue to amass our Joja Colas for our Grange display, or Grange display. We got all sorts of stuff out here to grab. Lots of copper from the first few levels of the mine. And then we can actually transmute those copper into iron bars, and then transmute those iron bars into gold bars, which then we can use to upgrade our pickaxe. So I am actually going to upgrade my pickaxe to gold, simply because it'll make getting through the rest of the mine a lot easier. But Robin congratulates us on completing her quest and gives us a recipe for a new item, the stone chest. I don't ever use it, simply because it's, in my opinion, a lot harder to get stone. So it's much easier to get 50 wood for a wood chest than 50 stone for a stone chest. And Emily sent us a gift. Now I would have preferred cloth, but I guess wool is fine. We'll hang on to that just in case. And then of course we have our rest of our chores to do, so I should probably get to that. As we continue to take care of all the little things here around the farm. Today we're going to head to the desert, so I can finish off the Mr. Key quest line. We'll grab our mushrooms in here, check out the greenhouse, and then we'll go give that sand dragon its meal. Which is a, I forget exactly what it's called, like a light stone, as our melons are coming in here nice and firm and round. We'll also grab our pale ale here and continue to brew them up. I'm sure it doesn't stink in here at all from those kegs, but I will finish up my chores. Alright, so I finished up all the chores around the farm, and now we are going to head to the desert. And you'll notice I do have 5 gold bars. That is to upgrade our pickaxe when we get back. And then I also have a few other items that I need as well, including our geodes, and then the item we need for the sand dragon. So do we have to kill a sturgeon frenzy, eh? Ooh, a palm fossil. Interestingly, that was the last item I needed to complete the museum in my first playthrough of this game. But here we have the sand dragon. So even in death, it yearns for its taste. So we're gonna give it a solar essence, which I got from the mines. So you just have to give it to the dragon, and it's got a little note hidden inside. Check out the pile of lumber next to your house. But while we're here, we will say hi to Sandy, of course. I don't really get out here very much, so my relationship with Sandy is not the greatest. These out-of-the-way people are the ones I don't really have great relationships with. And then we will also grab a few of the forage items out here. Some coconuts, and I believe there's a cactus fruit as well. And some wiggly worms. Alright, so we got a warp totem, that's pretty cool. So let's head back to the city then. Alright, we're back. But yeah, the palm fossil was the last item I needed in order to complete the museum. The first time I played this game, to get that particular achievement on my PlayStation 4 version of the game. But here is the last item of the key quest line. That is the club card. Seems important, so we're going to add it to our wallet. Now this was changed in terms of where it's located. Now we have it in our special items here on the menu. It used to show up underneath your picture in a little wallet area, but they changed that up. And being Sunday, we're going to head down to the south and we're going to actually check out the traveling merchant, because we still need to find void mayo and or a void egg in order to complete some quest lines. Now, what are the odds we will find it? I would like iridium ore. Unfortunately, you don't have enough of it to make it worthwhile for us. A rare crow. Normally I would collect those, but not interested at this point. And yeah, that Haley portrait, we're not going to be getting that. So we'll stop in at the blacksmith. We've got a bunch of geodes to crack open. We also grabbed a special ticket from the little mailbox, so to speak, next to the posting board. Apparently when you finish off one of the big quests, you actually get a special ticket. And then you can use that in the mayor's house in that little apparatus to get items. So again, that's a more recent update. I would assume in 1.6. So it's something new to me. Not sure if any of this is new stuff for the museum. Hopefully at least a couple items. We're still aiming for completing the museum. Well, not completing it. Getting enough items in there so that we can actually get the sewers key. And then we're going to upgrade our pickaxe because we want it for the rest of the mines. And if we do decide to go into the skull mines, we want to make sure we have that as well. It looks like we did get a couple extra items here. I want to make sure I place them someplace I can actually read the item descriptions. So we'll put it here. So I'm not going to be putting items down on that bottom one in the middle, simply because then you can't reach the items. But we get a bunch of decorative items here, including the massive bear statue, which is huge. And we have a couple books here in the library as well. The Crystallarium. That is a great item. It can create multiples of gems. Unfortunately, not the prismatic shard. That would be really nice. But usually what I do is I just stick a diamond in there. You can stick a lower value gem and you'll get them more often, which actually ends up being more of a value in the long run. But I just typically, if I get that item, I just put a diamond in there. And this tells us about the legendary fish, the ones you can catch in each season, including the ultimate fish, which is the legend. So you need to basically be maxed out in fishing level, and then typically you have to have the best rod, and then also you need to eat food to get your level up to about 12 at least, but usually I get it up to 14 if I can. And I have caught the legend before. And then Gunther tells us about the trapdoor to start the key quest. But I will not be catching it in this particular playthrough, simply because I'm not doing enough fishing. There's no way I'm going to get it maxed out in time to actually catch the legend. And I think it comes out in spring, so that just is not an option at this point. But here we have the palm fossil. Relatively common, but it's particularly well preserved. Alright, let's drop off this ticket and see what we get. Looks like we get some seeds. Good old broccoli. One of the few vegetables I actually like. So that's a new plant that you can grow in fall. And today we also have the book salesman. So I've mentioned where the book salesman is before in my last episode. They are behind the Joja Mart here in this new area they opened up. Has a very Wizard of Oz wizard vibe going on here. You can buy books, which again are new items that have been added to the game. They give you a little bit of experience in different areas, so will increase your speed or give you extra experience in some of your abilities. And then you can actually trade in stuff as well. So if you trade in books, you can get some special items. None of this is necessarily super helpful for me, but it's there. And then behind the bookseller is a couple of hardwood stumps, so that's nice. You can access those and get a little bit of hardwood, which we need a lot of for various projects we're doing. All right, another day here in the valley. You just finished your chores, huh? Keeping the place clean? Tell you about my day. Okay, well, what do you want to hear? It was a typical farmer day. And now it's time for bed. Yes, we're gonna go to sleep. We'll do one more day in this particular episode. So again, our next major goal we're working towards is upgrading the house one more time so that we can potentially have children. So we need about 65,000 gold. And then we also need, I think, about 150 hardwood. And then we also need hardwood for the boat to go to Ginger Island. Ooh, rain, that's good. And then there's actually a special event that may trigger related to that tree down in Cindersap Forest. And I think you need hardwood to repair that tree as well if the event happens. So we'll see. I've never actually done that event. I just had it happen in my other playthrough I was doing to catch up to this one, so I could re-record those scenes. And I did repair the tree, but I didn't actually see what happened out of that, so if it happens again, it'll be a new surprise. But Haley is going to take care of getting the house ready for winter. That's very nice of you. I do appreciate it. I'll go out and continue to make the money. We'll grab these sunflowers. Oh joy, it's blackberry season. I really am not a fan of that simply because it makes me feel like I have to collect blackberries because they're everywhere. Similar to the salmon berries during spring. But we're gonna grab our sunflowers here, replant. It looks like we also have quite a bit of forage hanging out here on our farm. And then we'll knock down some trees as well, in addition to grabbing these blackberries. And we did get a quest to find the basket for Linus, so we will be doing that too. So here is where Linus's basket is. You have to head to the left from the bus, and it is right here on the ground before the tunnel. So we'll use that and return it to Linus to get some affection with him, and we will also go check out Mr. Key. Alright, so we're back in the desert here. We'll say hi to Sandy, and now that we have the club card, we can actually get into this back room. So we have to talk to this stoic bodyguard here. Yes, that is the club card. Now move out of the way, blockhead. Sandy reacts there. So it wasn't just in our mind. That actually happened, that smoke bomb or explosion. But here we have Mr. Key's Casino, where you can do some gambling with some key coins. And you also can get some items if you get enough key coins, including the Statue of Endless Fortune. Now that is regular gold. We certainly do not have 1,000,000 gold. But I believe that is an item that gives you iridium ore. I think it's the item that you get from Grandfather at the end of the 3 years if you complete the community center and get kind of a good file. But I could be wrong. I feel like it might not be that item, but you're supposed to get random good items each day. And here we have fireworks. No idea what those are. Some very expensive wallpaper and flooring. We will not be getting that. And I'm actually not going to probably play these games simply because, again, we're saving up our money for the house upgrade. But here it also tells us about various stats here in the game. 774 monsters slain. No, I don't want to play Calico Jack. Let's just talk to the big man back here, Mr. Key. Yes, it was me. So in the original versions of the game, the first few updates, this, I think, was the extent of Mr. Key. Your goal was to access this particular casino. Now, in later updates, they actually added a whole new questline with Mr. Key after the fact related to Ginger Island. And then there's actually another event as well, the Perfection questline, that got added as well, which is related to an area behind where the trains come through, near the sauna. But Mr. Key lets us know that he's the one who has been putting the treasure chests in the mine. He feels it's his responsibility to make life more interesting, whatever that means. So we have Linus's basket. Let's hand that to him. And then we'll do a few more things before heading to bed. So let's go grab some forage and do a few more things. So we got Linus up to 5 hearts. He's actually 3rd now. Alright, so we handed in another ticket, and we actually got an orange sapling, which is a tree. And it grows. It takes a full month, pretty much, to mature. If you put it here in the greenhouse, at least as far as I know, it should grow all season. Just needs to make sure all of the spots around it are not occupied by anything. So should work right there. You don't have to water it, I don't believe. But then once it matures, it'll grow oranges. Alright, so that has been another successful couple of days here in the valley. Haley's finished her checks of the house to make sure it's ready for winter. We'll head to bed, and in my next episode we will continue onward as we continue in fall and we head towards the fair. So as always, viewers, thanks for watching, and I'll see y'all in my next episode. So long. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please press like and leave a comment below. Please also subscribe to my channel and press the notification bell. See you next time.